All right, we're live on the Hangout, but we're not starting the show yet, so don't freak out, people. Brad, we can't hear you.
Oh, God.
There it is.
Thank God. Okay.
Everybody's audio level seems low. Everybody.
How's this? Too much?
I'm gonna leave you two alone.
Well, we need about
I'm not sure if
250.
there's hanky-panky going on or pooping. I just really don't know.
I make the same sounds in both.
All right.
Hey, it's a... Who... Oh, God.
I noticed that I didn't. Is that the same shirt that you were wearing for Alien Invasion, Brad?
What's that?
Is that the same shirt that you were wearing for Alien Invasion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe you had a wardrobe change between shows.
I didn't notice the Serenity T-shirt. That's cool.
Wow.
I believe that was a nerd out.
I don't know what it was.
That was a nerd out.
It was something.
So any questions on what we're talking about? I guess you don't have any questions because you all brought your own stories.
Yep.
Oh, there it is, you sexy bastard.
I tasted some sushi in that one.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I gotta start doing this from now on, recording way in advance, the audio way in advance, like juicy stuff for the soundboard.
Yeah, you heard what came out of Matt's mouth. That was juicy as hell.
That's going on the soundboard.
What?
Actually, start the real show.
And follow it up with "I'm dead sexy."
I can do that.
I'm so frickin' hot right now.
I actually am really warm right now. Oh, we're just gonna leave it at that? Okay.
Yep. I was just gonna let that one hang. You're welcome.
Physically warm.
I
Brad
got
doesn't care.
I got
No.
nothing.
Well, it's always winter in Canada, so you're probably not warm.
It's not. That's a misnomer. We're probably at the same stupid latitude.
Google. Where are you?
Ottawa.
Okay, that's what I thought, but
You're
I wasn't sure.
further north.
I don't think so. Not by much.
Latitude.
I don't think.
Appleton, Wisconsin. Latitude.
Compare and contrast.
Oh, wow, it's pretty... north. You're about 13 degrees further north.
What does that mean?
Yes.
That you're further north?
No, I know that, but 13 degrees, like miles.
Oh, my goodness. Google.
No, it's a fist length in the
many
sky. I don't know
Oh,
what it is
it's
on
a-
land.
It's a fist.
Is
It's a
fist.
fist.
latitude.
Figure out your latitude.
Degree. A second. Oh, what the hell? What is a second? Is it after the dot or before the dot?
So you have
oh.
minutes and then seconds. So hours, minutes, seconds.
Gotcha.
Hours, minutes.
So a second of latitude is approximately 2,000th of a mile, or just over 100 feet. A degree of longitude varies in size at the equator and is approximately 69 miles. So if you're 13... Holy shit, math class.
We're doing latitude, not longitude, though. Latitude, longitude.
Did I say it?
Probably the same.
I think my... whatever. I think it's the same.
Longitude and
It says
latitude,
latitude,
are
no.
not the same distance
No,
apart.
Okay.
Because longitude, they all meet up towards the end,
Oh.
and then they like bulge out and away from each other.
I should have probably finished it. At the equator, it is approximately 69 miles, the same size as a degree of latitude.
Mm-hmm.
So
Alright.
latitude, longitude, okay, whatever. Stupid. Times 69. Dave, you are approximately 900 miles further north than I am.
I don't believe that.
Oh, come on. Maps.google.com.
No, we don't have to.
Well, you can start the show whenever. I'm on a mission here.
It doesn't seem that. It doesn't. Doesn't seem that far of a difference.
No, it totally isn't. It is definitely not 897 miles.
No. All right, I'm going to start the show. We've been live for a while, so I will just do the intro. Make sure that we're recording. Continue Googling, Matt, and I will do the intro here, okay?
Although Ottawa is further north.
Yeah,
it is, but it's not by much.
Yeah, no, it's not. All right, here we go. Hear ye, hear ye. I'm Dave Nelson, and on this 21st day of May 2014, I call to order this, the 9th meeting of the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. Let's commence with the roll call. Matt Stein, are you here?
No, I totally am, Dave. You know that. We've been talking already. You're so silly.
But I have to keep up appearances. I can't just not do it. I have to make sure, confirm that you are really here.
I am here, and finish your roll call, and then I'm going to blow the doors wide open on this latitude business.
Okay, all right. So we were talking about something earlier that we'll continue talking about in a second. Okay, roll call continues. Brad Ludwig.
Here.
Are you raising your hand? I don't see you. Oh, you are raising your hand. Okay, got it. And Anessa Moyens, are you present?
I'm here.
All right. All present and accounted for on this Sci-Fi Geeks Club. Welcome, everybody. How are you guys doing? It's been a while since we did a show.
Yeah, holy crap, has it.
It's been 4 weeks.
A few things happened in the meantime, including Matt graduating from college.
Our little boy has grown up so much.
That is exactly how I felt, because my mom made this big deal out of it. I just wanted to get drunk and have friends over, and she's like, I'll bring coleslaw and plates.
It's adorable.
She brought coleslaw and plates. She makes really killer coleslaw, so I wasn't upset about it.
What exactly is your degree in that you graduated college for?
The degree itself is called Information and Communication Technologies, so it's just IT and communications in one degree.
You have 2 degrees? Or it's 2 in 1?
It's 2 in 1. I should have just gotten a degree in Googling.
Because you're good at that.
I'm really good at that.
We were talking before the show started about how much a
degree of latitude is in miles, because Dave and I were trying to figure out how much further north Ottawa, Canada is from Appleton, Wisconsin, because he was convinced it was very close. And turns out, Dave, I'm dumb. I don't know how to read the internet, and you are actually only 1.1547 latitudinal degrees north of me, which is only 80 miles.
Yes, I knew it.
I was reading it backwards.
Okay, that's okay. No, we all learned something tonight.
I learned a lot of something tonight. I think I learned more after I finished school than being in school.
I tuned out after Hear Ye. Did Matt say something?
Thus it begins.
Huh.
Continuing battle between Brad Ludwig and Matt Stein.
You know what, Brad? I don't even care, because my old pal Gary just tweeted me. The only time I ever use Twitter is when I'm trying to talk to Gary.
There you go.
Boom. Don't even, your words just right off my shoulder.
All right, and also Anessa moved up from Texas and is also in Wisconsin. I feel so left out now. You guys are all in Wisconsin. I'm in Ottawa, Canada.
This is where all the cool kids are.
Oh, whatever.
Not this kid. This kid is warm right now. I am a sweaty Uncle Teddy at the moment.
It looks like you have a stranglehold on that beer mug, so I could see that.
Yeah,
well, I'm thirsty.
Let's talk about that beer. What are you drinking this week?
It's French. I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
it's
does that mean you have to drink it with the pinky up?
I try to, but the mug gets really heavy. It's Duchess de Bourgogne. I don't know. It is a traditional top-fermented reddish-brown ale from West Flanders region of Belgium. Oh, it's not even French.
Okay.
It's really good. I drank it in Sheboygan last week and took to the internet and found out I can get it at my local Woodman's. So I picked a bottle up for tonight.
Sweet. All right.
Hooray for Woodman's.
Yeah, right?
Enjoy that
We're going to
beer.
have to get
Thank you.
some Big Bull Falls Brewery beer that's brewed here in Wausau for you, Matthew.
I was looking at those. I'm really excited. As long as you deliver it with a hug.
Oh, there will be hugging involved.
Not too long or too much hugging, I hope.
Just a
It doesn't
perfect.
count as a hug unless it's at least 10 seconds.
Oh,
All
well,
right.
who hugs for less than 10 seconds besides communists?
I was going to say, communists are the only ones.
As long as both feet are on the floor, nobody can say that we're doing anything unsavory.
Wow.
That's why the wall fell. They weren't hugging. All they needed
Yeah.
was hugs, and the wall fell.
Oh, I thought you were implying something else. Never mind.
Wow.
All right. Hey, let's talk about the reason why we're here, and that is to discuss the week's science fiction news. But before we do, got to remind you of our Patreon campaign to raise some money to make us the biggest, most badass science fiction podcasting network on the planet. And you can help out by going to patreon.com/galacticnetcasts, patreon.com/galacticnetcasts, and for as little as $1 a month, you can become our boss. We'll work for you. Or $15 a month, and you can become, or you can be a guest on one episode of this here show on the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. So again, $1 or $15, or hell, you can give us $500 a month. That would be awesome. That would reach it. That would make us get us to our goal of making $500 a month, doing what we all love here on Galactic Netcast. So again, patreon.com/galacticnetcasts, and give to our Patreon campaign. We'd really appreciate that. Before we get on with our new business, let's review what we talked about on the last episode of the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. Brad.
Well, our guest was Lou Page from the podcast Zombies Ate My Podcast. Matt brought the story of Sony working on the Project Morpheus again / still. I talked about the Fox drama Almost Human being canceled. Grr.
It was canceled.
You know, I keep running into people outside of you guys, and someone actually brought up Almost Human being canceled and got super, super sad about it. And I'm like, not you too. And then naturally, the natural progression of the conversation was it went to Doctor Who. And I think I went to sleep.
Tuned out right away, didn't you?
Aww. Almost Human was a good show, though.
Yeah, it was very good. Star Wars Episode 7 cast was announced, and that was a story that Dave brought to the table. And Lou, closing it all up here, brought in the story that Star Wars lore is changing, and here's what it means. Essentially, all of the Star Wars books, everything else that was considered canon, is being pretty much thrown out.
You know, since we talked about that, I've heard other people talk about it, and it sounds like it was a good thing because there were some pretty stupid stories pretty stupid books that were created from the Star Wars universe.
No, there were, a lot of garbage, but there was a Dark Horse series that came out in the early 90s that was just frickin' amazing. That was kind of a follow-up that would have happened pretty much right after Empire. So
Is that the story that people were thinking for a while they were going to make as the next movie?
yeah, but I mean, Mark Hamill's too old to do that now. With what that story would have entailed. Star Wars, hang on a second here.
And we've got some more Star Wars news tonight, and there could have been even more. There was a story I found with some major plot spoilers, possible plot spoilers that I decided not to bring to the show.
I would have been really sad.
Yeah. I'm kind of mad that I read it, because now I know if that's true, if that's the plot line, then I'm mad that I know it already.
Well, Brad is Googling. I thought I should mention there was another Project Morpheus story that came out today, actually. I thought about doing it for my story. I didn't realize that it was the last show that I did it the last time, but it's in like full-blown alpha at this point, and they've announced the first 2 games, even though the story only had 1. Let's see if I can find it real quick. But there's no like street date, and Morpheus is still the project name, so they don't have an actual name for it. And there's nothing about pricing, but it seems like the projected 2015 could be possible.
They should totally keep it Project Morpheus and like get the rights to the talk to the Wachowskis and get the rights to the Matrix and totally do a game around that. That would be awesome.
They always, well, it was on sciencefiction.com, but they always make references to like the Matrix when they talk about it, so it'd be kind of cool to do it. It'd be kind of stupid not to. Plus, they could, with the reboot of the Matrix trilogy, they could reboot the Matrix video games, and then you got virtual reality Matrix game. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So, Brad, did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, it was Star Wars Dark Empire. It was released 91, thereabouts.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that.
And it was the Tom Veitch who has written some wonderful, wonderful stuff. And it was like the first introduction of an artist named Cam Kennedy who does amazing coloring and just beautiful artwork. And those were very interesting stories. And but that's all being blown out, and rightly so. They need to start with a blank slate, and they can't be hamstrung essentially by a lot of crap that's out there too. So.
Exactly. All right, that's going to do it for a review from last time. Let's move on to new business. Do we want to go the order in which the doc is in, or?
Yeah, why don't we?
Okay, Matt. Matt has the first story then. What do you got?
You guys just like making me talk first.
Yeah, of course.
Get the child out of the way.
We've missed you, Matt.
Mm-hmm. This little tidbit blew my socks off because I spent all day looking, couldn't find anything, so I checked when I got home, and this little Batman pajama was there. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The official name, official release date of May 6, 2016, and filming is already underway, and it is the official Man of Steel sequel. In the article I read, people were speculating why it's Batman v Superman instead of Batman versus Superman. I don't really care. It probably doesn't make a lick of difference, but people need something to be sad about. The movie is written by Chris Terrio. Henry Cavill will be playing Superman. Ben Affleck will be playing Batman, which I know we've talked about.
One before you continue, can we talk, because we haven't had a show since that photo was posted of the new Batmobile and Ben Affleck as Batman, and okay, go ahead.
Well, I saw something else about that photo regarding people were pissed off because Batman's suit only looks one color. And it was Kevin Smith's response to it. He goes, "It's a monochrome photo. It's only one color. Like, how does no one understand that the whole picture is just one color?"
Yeah, he's been sitting on this for a while. He saw a picture of, or he actually saw the suit because he's buddies with Ben Affleck. He saw it a long time ago, and he said it's exactly like what comic is that, Brad?
Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns, and if you compare the picture from the comic to his suit,
yes,
and the version of that I saw that was kind of colored in, it looks exactly like that suit.
Yeah, the bat icon is exactly on his chest, is exactly like it is in the Dark Knight Returns.
Are you talking about the
Frank Miller comic book where he?
Sorry, I'm not a comic book. But there was.
Then why ask the question?
Because there was a picture on the story that I read, and it had like Batman hitting the Joker with something, but the bat symbol looks quote unquote fat. It's not like a really well defined. It's kind of like a rounder bat symbol. Is that the same one?
So you actually did look at a comic book panel. Was that painful for you?
No, I never.
Did you need to sit down? Yes, that is the one from the Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
It looks very This suit looks very organic. It looks like a throwback to the original.
Yeah.
And it looks less like armor and more like clothes you'd put on, kind of.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, a lot of it is like Kevlar underneath, so it's a little bulkier, but he can, it's designed to be able to take gunshots and stuff like that. So.
Okay. So what else is on the story here?
It's just who else is playing who.
Okay. So Lex Luthor, we knew about that.
Yep.
We knew.
Lawrence Fishburne's playing Perry White. I don't know if we knew about that one.
Yes.
Diane Lane's playing Martha Kent. Amy Adams is playing Lois Lane. Jeremy Irons is playing Alfred.
See, that's kind of the interesting bit here too. Is we were definitely going away from the Christopher Nolan stuff, I think.
Well, and I think they almost have to.
They do. They really do.
Not that I wouldn't be upset if they made another Christopher Nolan type Batman, but for it to be its own thing, they have to.
Yeah.
And then Holly Hunter, Callan Mulvey, and Teo Akamoto are playing unknown characters. Apparently, this is also the beginning for the Justice League movies, from the sounds of it, and then they're supposed to include Wonder Woman and Cyborg.
And I saw a picture that one of the production team members from the set posted a picture of a playing card, and I think it was the Joker, kind of embedded in like a wall or a table or some kind of piece of wood, and that was supposed to be a sign that the Joker is going to be in this movie as well.
I do like the Joker in the character itself. Has always been a favorite of mine.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
Crickets.
Well, no, it's going to be interesting with the Heath Ledger performance of the Joker is going to be very hard to top. So it'll be interesting to see, one, if the Joker is a part of it, who they cast, and two, if people are going to give this actor a fair shake. God, so many people were really down on Heath Ledger playing the Joker, and this is going to sound goofy, but after I saw that Knight's Tale, and I really say what you will about the film, his acting in that was really good, and you really got the sense that he could, in some of his other work too, just looking at his body of work as a whole, I just kind of had a feeling that he was going to really do a good job with it, but he did far better than I thought that he would have. What he brought was epic, and people still talk about to this day. So it'll be interesting to see who fills those shoes and what kind of performance they bring to the table, and how well it's received. If all of nerddom is going to cry in anguish and gnash their teeth bitterly and whatever.
I'm noticing a trend for these superhero movies of a lot of characters in one movie, because there was a lot of characters in the second Spider-Man movie, this second Amazing Spider-Man movie. There's a lot of characters in this new X-Men movie, and it seems like there's a lot of characters in this this Dark Knight or the Batman v Superman. Seems like.
I almost wonder if they have to start doing that. Sorry, Brad, but I wonder if they have to start doing that, because the more different characters they get in, the more people that they can pull in.
That's a good point.
Could it also be because they need to use these characters or else they lose copyright on them too? Maybe? I don't know how that works.
No, that works that way for the comics, but as long as you, well, boy, you know what? That's a good question.
No, that's a very good question, because I don't think there was that rumor going around that that Marvel Studios was going to get back the rights to Spider-Man, and he's just one character.
I think that the difference here is that Time Warner is making the film. Warner owns DC, so they have all the rights. Okay. Marvel Studios, which is a part of Marvel, before Marvel Studios was created, Marvel sold off the rights to those characters to Fantastic Four, X-Men, and so on and so forth. So the way that was drafted, those agreements, they had to make a film within set time periods or the rights would revert back. So that's the difference between the two.
Let me ask you, Brad. I saw an article on io9.com this week about the best cross-universe characters. What are some characters that went from Marvel to DC? Because there has been, right? And DC to Marvel?
Yeah, they had. I have it somewhere. It was probably one of the coolest crossovers, and it was the X-Men Teen Titans crossover, which was done in early 80s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, early 80s. Beautifully printed. It was on Baxter paper. That's when you know a true comic geek is when they go, oh yeah, it was beautiful. They printed it on Baxter paper, and they go, oh, Baxter paper. Oh my God, that was amazing. Whatever. Anyways, shut it, Matthew.
I didn't say anything. I just
No,
groaned.
you just like a whiny asthmatic. Shut it. No, and there's been Amalgam Comics, which was just a line that was done for, like, you had oh God, who was it? Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think was one of the Amalgam Comics.
Wait a second, Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
That's quite the crossover.
Yeah, it was Amalgam Comics. Yeah, there we go. So it was DC and Marvel working together, and I am going to, if you're checking out the video, you'll be able to see this. If not, you're out of luck. But here it is. Yeah, Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's Viper, which is a Marvel character, but I think that she was combined with somebody, I can't remember who.
She's badass. I totally want to read this now.
And then, who was it, the Green Skull? That was Green Skull is a combination. Alexander Luthor. So he was, he was a Luthor. Black Cat was Barbara Hardy, which would be a combination of Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and Felicity Hardy, which is Black Cat.
That's like almost like an alternate universe.
Yes, it was. It was structured that way. Like there was some cataclysmic event that two universes collided, and then all these characters meshed together to make this new reality happen, and how everything came to be. So
that's a neat way of doing it, without actually doing a proper crossover.
Yeah, and some of the titles that they had, these are great titles. Let me see if I can find...
Lobo the Duck?
Probably.
Anybody? Bueller? I was just told to yell out Lobo the Duck.
Yep.
I don't know what I just said. I may have offended someone.
No, Lobo is a anti-hero in DC, and
Oh.
The Duck.
and Howard the Duck, which was a horrible George Lucas film. Howard the Duck is a Marvel character. Let's see. I'm trying to find some of the... See, and this site is all bollocksed up. But they had some great crossovers. Like they had Wolverine essentially as Batman.
Neat. That's really cool. Did you guys see the quote by Hugh Jackman?
Oh, here we go. Sorry, go ahead.
Hugh Jackman wants to do he wants the Wolverine to join the Avengers and fight the Hulk. That's like on his bucket list of things to do.
Yep. So we had Doctor Strange Fate, which would be a combination of Doctor Strange from the Marvel Universe and Doctor Fate from the DC Universe. JLX, which is a combination of the Justice League of America and the X-Men. Legends of the Dark Claw is the where is it? Is a combination of, there we go, Wolverine and Batman.
Okay, I knew Wolverine was in there.
And Super Soldier was a combination of Captain America and
Man?
crap, he had a golden shield.
Yeah, will be of no help, Brad.
I'm sorry.
You know, we need to have a music whenever.
Guardian is the name of the character. Guardian, that's right.
We need to have like a music bed that we play whenever Brad is like stuck on something.
To the internets.
Can we play a rackety sax or rickety sax?
Yep.
All right.
So there you go. That's that was done in the late '90s. So there have been a few combinations like that.
That's awesome. So Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is the official title. Official release date May 6, 2016. Sounds awesome. All right, let's move on. Good job, Matt. Good job.
Thanks, Dad.
Good job.
All right, Brad, you got the next story, and we are talking Star Wars Episode 7.
We are talking a lot of Star Wars here. And there we go. So the story I'm bringing to the table here is they have the first Star Wars Episode 7 alien, and it's not CG.
It's totally a Henson thing.
It's a Henson thing, and it's really... I don't want to see Jar Jar Binks again, damn it. I don't think anybody else does. And I think that there is definitely, and I'm going to use a weird word for it, but there's somewhat of a romantic sort of a thing with having a practical alien, you know, something that easily interacts. You don't have your actors looking at a green ball on a green stick and interacting with that and trying to, you know, say lines to it and whatever. You've got an actual creature that you're working with, and I am going to pull this up here so you can actually see what this alien looks like.
Did you explain where this came from?
Yeah, this came from IO9, and this is a clip that we're looking at right now. It's actually an animated GIF, which is from a section of a video that we'll provide the link to this so you can see the actual video that this clip comes from, this GIF clip. But this creature kind of looks like if you were to take, if you were to combine maybe an older, like, Asian gentleman, as it were, like from the stereotypical like 40s films or something like that. He's got like the kind of the long goatee, sort of a beard. Fu Manchu. He's stooped over, and he's got, you know, his eyes are kind of very narrow, and they're on a desert planet, so he's, you know, trying to block out a lot of the sun. But it looks like he's carrying more bird-like creature or other bird-like creatures on his back. So he looks like he might be a merchant or a traveler. And JJ Abrams in this clip is talking a little bit, looks like he's talking about the character or different things that you will see in the film using practical effects like this.
The video is actually JJ Abrams introducing a contest where you have the chance to be in Star Wars Episode 7 if you give, I think, $10 or more to some charity, and then they're going to be doing a drawing, and that person will win a walk-on. Actually, will get in costume and actually be in the film, Star Wars Episode 7. And he's on the set of Episode 7 in Tunisia, I believe. I think.
Actually, I saw that they were shooting in Dubai right now.
Dubai. That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's for UNICEF, which is the benefit. So in the story, and hopefully we'll have a link for that as well. People can click that, and they can make a donation and possibly get a chance to be a character, get a walk-on background character role for Episode 7. So, guys, it's just so wonderful to see an actual practical alien. Not have it be.
And I think there's going to be more, because there is a story going around today that Andy Serkis is going to be manning one of those practical creatures.
He's been doing a lot of work for different. He was working on another film too, and God, gosh, I can't remember what it was now. And I'm like, well, of course you get Andy Serkis to be that character, to have the CG put over the top of him, which he did for the Gollum character for the Lord of the Rings films and Hobbit. So, no, it's very, very cool stuff, and I'm actually not dreading to see these films. I mean, to this day, I refuse to give George Lucas my money and see the Episode 3. I'd rather be set on fire and kicked in the junk than see that film.
I can make that happen.
Well, as long as you put me out with the Big Bull Falls Brewery beer that we bring after the hug, yeah.
I'll hug you while you're on fire. I don't even care.
You should probably make sure this happens during the winter so everybody stays warm.
That's love, Matt. I don't care if you're on fire, man. I'll give you a 10-second hug.
That's true. In Wisconsin, winter is like next Tuesday, so we're good.
It's still winter for me.
I know, it's like, it's 68 degrees. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And then S is like, really?
It's like, I'm so cold. I mean, it was in the 90s and really super humid. You would walk outside and just have a layer of sweat. It was like being in Houston all over again.
That's like July 8th, July 9th around here.
Yeah.
So, and then this front moves through, and I need a hoodie.
The weather changes quite quickly in the Midwest.
Well, it changed down in Texas, too. So, we were in, well, actually, it cooled off quite a bit right before we left, and then it was cool for the rest of the trip. So.
Well, did you encounter any, like, severe weather, like tornadoes?
Well, we were sitting in the parking lot waiting for it to quit hailing so we could leave Denton, if that counts.
Yeah.
Any day now.
It was rain, and then I was also trying to cancel a hotel room because I'm like, there's no way we're going to make it there in a reasonable amount of time. And it started hailing, and so we're like, oh, that's hail. Okay, we'll just sit here and wait. So it let up. We got the room canceled thanks to Brad, and then we hopped on the road, and it was raining for the next 2.5, 3 hours, and then after that it was just windy up until right before Minnesota. So I was fighting to keep this truck in 2 lanes, and or in 1 lane rather. And there's one point where there's an 18-wheeler to my right, and I was passing him up, and we both get hit with like a gust of wind, and we're like, whoa!
Just like that, huh?
Yeah, just whoa!
Remind me never to drive anywhere with you.
Hey, I managed to survive and stay in my lane.
And there's no warrants out for your arrest yet?
No warrants, no hit and runs. I'm good.
Yet.
Well, I don't have the truck anymore, so it's not going to happen with that.
All right. Let's stay on the subject of Star Wars. We talked about the practical effects. Let's talk about the original trilogy maybe being released on DVD and Blu-ray. The original trailer or the original trilogy with unaltered, no like put in them, no Lucasified.
They haven't done that yet?
What's that?
It's not on DVD or Blu-ray without whatever dumb crap.
No. The only copy they ever released onto DVD was like a really bad they filmed the VHS version of the film and then put it on DVD. Yeah. So this will be the very first time it's ever been released on DVD and Blu-ray. The original, and in the original Star Wars Episode 4, who shot first? Was it Solo or was it Greedo? Greedo. So Greedo will finally get to see Greedo shoot first if this is true. If this story turns out to be true. Now, Disney's marketing department, the studio, are planning to re-release A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi on DVD and Blu-ray, and on demand in the original form. without all the things George Lucas changed for the special edition releases back in 2004. The new trilogy is going to be very closely tied to the original and will be marketed as a direct sequel to those. So this particular re-release strategy makes a lot of sense, don't you think? This is definitely something people have wanted for a long time. In fact, there was a effort for the longest time to piece together the original, take pieces and actually get a decent copy of it without all the additions. They actually were trying to piece together fans of the movie were actually trying to fit all the pieces together and make their own version. So I'm glad that they didn't, and I'm glad that Disney decided to get their act together and do something that Lucas refused to do. Also, second piece of Star Wars news. It's with all the excitement of Episode 7 recently, it's easy to forget that at least 3 Star Wars spin-off films are coming our way as well. Disney has stated they plan on releasing a Star Wars film every year, starting with Episode 7 in December 2015. Subjects of those spin-offs have been hotly debated until now. The German site Star Wars Union is reporting that one of their readers attended a recent training presentation from Hasbro and that the working titles of the 3 spin-offs were revealed. And here's how the schedule will look through 2020. So fall 2014, Star Wars Rebels. That's this fall. 2015, Episode 7. 2016, Boba Fett. So a whole movie dedicated to Boba Fett. 2017, Episode 8 will be released. 2018, the Solo film, the movie about Han Solo. Episode 9 in 2019, and Red 5, a movie called Red 5 released in 2020. And there's a lot of debate as to what that will be about, because of course that was Luke's call sign in the original Episode 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be about the squadron after everything that happened in Episode 4. Or was it Episode 6?
No, it was Episode 4 when they blew up the Death Star.
Okay. Well, they blew it up in Episode 6, too.
Yes. It got blown up a few times.
Yet they keep on making it. What's the deal with that? So how do you guys feel about these interstitial movies that they're releasing between the main movies?
I think it should have ended with Episode 9 instead of a spin-off. Because you're either going to have no one will care about it, or, I mean, what am I even saying? People are going to bend over backwards to shell out stupid amounts of money to see all of these movies, and I will still be sitting here like a jackass talking about how Star Wars might not make $100 million this year.
So you think that the market will be oversaturated with Star Wars movies?
I think so. But for Star Wars fans, like diehard Star Wars fans, I don't think it's possible. Unless these movies suck.
But are there enough diehard Star Wars fans to make these other movies, a success?
Can you say that there isn't? I mean, just knowing that there's, documentaries and all these conventions and stuff, you can't tell me that there aren't enough people to make this profitable for Disney.
No, it'll make an unreasonable amount of cash.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Like next year in the movie draft, Dave. Next year in the movie draft, whoever gets Episode 7 will win.
But the thing is, we're not going to be able to bid on Episode 7 next year because it's not a summer movie. It's coming out in Christmas.
They're
time.
all coming out around Christmas time? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, just December 15th. Okay, I see that now.
Yeah, just Episode 7 is the first one, and that will be around Christmas time because they didn't have enough time to get it ready for a summer 2015 release.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's your Star Wars news for the week. We had a lot of it.
Yes.
And I predict that we're going to have regular Star Wars stories from now on. I'm just guessing.
Well, with what is it, seven movies coming out in the next 7 years? Yes.
Yeah.
There will be nonstop Star Wars news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'll say this, for not being a Star Wars fan, if the original comes out on Blu-ray, I would buy it. Because I know my wife is a Star Wars fan, and I would rewatch them with her.
Because
So,
they jacked it up. I mean, with all those, making Han shoot first and then
No,
adding
it was Han shot first originally, and then when
Oh.
they re-released it, Greedo shot first.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Sorry.
Nope, that's fine. I just
Adding. Yeah.
see, I
adding-
never knew that. I knew that there was an argument about who shot first, but I didn't know that there was altering that took place to change it.
And didn't they add like a different yell for Vader when he his no? Didn't they add? Didn't they sweeten that up?
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So maybe they'll release the original. No.
Hang on.
Yeah, there was a bunch of Star Wars news this week. I mean, we could have done a whole episode on Star Wars. And when I post stories to our social feeds, it's like every other one is a Star Wars story these days. So it's either a Star Wars story or it's a comic book movie story.
Keeps you in business.
That sounds like something like Grandpa would say. Yeah, keeps you in business.
It keeps you out of trouble.
So what do you got for us, Brad?
Yeah, in the original movie, Han shot first. And the reason why it was changed is he didn't like, after he released it, it kind of made Han look like a cold-blooded killer. He wanted him to be likable. So when they re-released it, it was Greedo who shot first, and Han shot him in sort of retaliation, as it were.
Okay.
And everybody was up in arms about that.
Yeah, but how can you change something so drastically that is already out there? Been out there for what? How many years was it out before it was re-released and altered?
Quite a bit.
That would be like someone rewriting Stairway to Heaven, re-releasing it 20 years after the original, and being like, nope, this is how it is now. Everyone can deal with it.
Well, you saw that some of the members of the band Spirit don't want to have the Led Zeppelin 4 re-released until Randy California gets the writing credit for the sort of the intro, the acoustic, the guitar intro.
I did not see that, but the way the music industry is now, it does not surprise me.
Is Randy California the brother of Robert California from The Office, played by
It's probably a nod to Randy California, but no.
Did not even think about that. Attaboy.
That's awesome. Good. That's good stuff right there. All right, let's move on from our Star Wars news to our last story, and that is Anessa. What do you got for us, Anessa?
Not Star Wars.
Yay!
But before I go on to my story, you had talked about getting the rights, like maybe the Morpheus project could get the rights from the Wachowskis. I forget how they say their name.
Wachowskis.
But apparently, they don't actually have the rights because they were sued for copyright infringement for the Matrix films.
Yes, they were
Go figure.
So,
successfully sued.
because I was trying to remember, I'm like, I want to say that they were sued, but I didn't say anything because I wanted to look it up first. But yeah, they were sued back in 1999 because they had like this contest where they had people write in with their ideas or their stories, their little science fiction stories, and there was one in particular that ended up becoming The Matrix, and they went in and they made the movie, and then they cut out like a fair chunk out of the movie to try to make it less like the story and try to get around being sued for copyright infringement because it had a copyright back in like 1981. And the lady sued for the Matrix movies and I think the Terminator and its sequels, and she won.
Oh, wow. The same lady?
So, yeah, the same lady.
Wow.
Sophia Stewart. So, yeah.
Still super mega tits movies, so I don't know.
Yeah. But, yeah, she won. Got a nice paycheck out of it. So. But
Although
anyway.
think about how much money she could have made had she presented those to a movie film director first, versus having to sue someone to get her money.
Yeah, well, because I mean, they basically did this call, and I guess she didn't realize she was going to get screwed over, but she did have it copyrighted, so.
I guess she's very smart that way.
Yeah. I think if it weren't for that, then it would be really hard to prove that she had written the stories ahead of time.
Yep.
That's a lesson for you folks. If you write a story, copyright it.
Copyright it before you give it to anybody else, so you'd be like, oi, this is copyrighted, before they even thought about it. So. Anywho. On to other written stories from, actually, 1938. The Hugo Prize, it's an award for science fiction. And it didn't come along till about the 1950s, 1953 to be exact. And so anything that was written before then didn't really get recognition, even if the stories were really good. And so on occasion, I think it's like 3 occasions so far, 96, 2001, and 2004, they've done Retro-Hugo Awards. And this year they're going to be looking at works that were created in 1938. So I thought that was really cool. They're going to be looking at novels by, let's see, C.S. Lewis's Out of the Silent Planet, Edgar Rice Burroughs' Carson of Venus, John Wyndham's Sleepers of Mars, and a few other ones. I believe Jack Williams's Legion of Time in the novel category. There's a lot of stories I haven't really had a chance to read yet.
The titles sound awesome, all of them.
Yeah, they sound really interesting. And they have different categories, novels, shorts, and novelettes and whatnot. Particularly, they have listed as the Best Dramatic Presentation short form category, in which 4 of Orson Welles' Mercury Theater of the Air productions have been nominated, including Around the World in 80 Days, A Christmas Carol, well, there's time travel, Dracula, and War of the Worlds, making Jules Verne, Charles Dickens, Bram Stoker, and H.G. Wells indirectly eligible for this year's awards. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The winners will be announced at the 72nd World Science Fiction Convention in London in August 14th. And the regular Hugos for works published in 2013 will be awarded at the convention as well. So
I wonder who accepts for those old stories, if no, like the writer, the author.
I would think that if they have any family that's still around, great-grandchild or something, they might have them come up. Otherwise, it might just be the publishing company or whoever. So, but yeah, I would think they would at least try. If, you know, they had kids and their kids had kids and they're still alive, then they would be like, on behalf of my grandfather, thank you.
Yeah,
He was a nutcase, but he wrote really awesome stories.
Speaking of like copyright, there's a lot of great old science fiction stories that you can get for free because it's out of copyright.
Right.
Some of those stories that's the case for some of those.
I would think so. I think it's 1925 or 32 or something. It's like before that, a lot of the copyright has already ran out, and so you can find a lot of these stories for free on places like the Project Gutenberg.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But in the case of, say, Edgar Rice Burroughs and the Barsoom series, the vast majority of those stories, like A Princess of Mars and whatnot, those are available free, but I think there are 2 or 3 that somehow managed to get their copyright renewed, so you actually have to pay for those. So it's weird how that worked out, but that's what they managed to do.
Have you guys, any of you guys, seen the new show? I think Showtime or HBO called Penny Dreadful.
Nope.
Heard of it.
I highly recommend it because they're dealing with a lot of like the old like original science fiction stories like Frankenstein and Dracula. They're reimagining them. Think of the TV show Once Upon a Time where they're taking all these um, characters from fairy tale characters and kind of retelling their stories. This is kind of the same deal. It's I've seen the first 2 episodes, and the first one deals with Frankenstein. Actually, the first 2 Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster are both in the episodes, and it's pretty cool. If you want to see Rose Tyler naked, I watch it.
That was never even in my mind.
I don't know who she is, but I want to see her naked.
I'm just saying, you know, Doctor Who fans, you know who Rose Tyler is, Billie Piper.
Couldn't you at least watch, what is it, the Diaries of a Call Girl or something, where
That's
she's...
right, I forgot that she was in that, yeah.
She's a prostitute,
Yeah, she's a prostitute.
and in one
this-
episode, she sleeps with Matt Smith.
That's
Oh.
weird.
So I thought that was kind of weird, but it's whatever.
Yeah, check it out. It's great acting, great production. If you like old stories, kind of reimagined, then I would definitely watch that if I were you.
Nope.
Well, cool.
Cool story.
Great stories all around, guys.
Sorry,
if,
bro.
if anybody has comments or want to kind of give us their 2 cents, is it 2 cents?
2
2
cents.
2
cents.
cents.
2 cents worth on any
2
of these
pence if you're British.
2 penny.
leave us some feedback, galacticnetcasts@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail number. It's 805-328-3966, and let us know what you think of any of these. Star Wars, The Batman, the Superman, Dawn of Justice, and the Retro-Hugo Awards. That sounds so awesome. I'm glad that they're being recognized finally. Some of those stories.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right, before we get out of here, do we want to check in on the Galactic Netcast, what we're watching weekly summer movie draft? Does anybody want to see how we're doing on that?
I think everyone should just assume that Team Car Ramrod is in the lead, which is true by like $157 million.
Wow, we're doing pretty well, Matt.
Yes, we are in first with 450,853,000. Team What We're Watching Weekly is at 293,082,000, and Team Suck is at $115,560,889.
But we're in the millions! Yay!
Yeah.
Have you guys even had a big movie yet, or
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Godzilla was yours? Okay.
God, yeah. It didn't break 100 million,
I mean, it
though,
wasn't
unfortunately.
as big as like Captain America, but
No, we
we've
really
got
struck
some
gold
Disney
with that
stuff,
one.
and that usually does decently. So
There's
You got,
a ton of movies
we've got
left.
How to Train Your Dragon 2, which I was dead set on just because I really like the first one.
And you
And we
got
have Guardians of the Galaxy.
And
Yeah,
then we
but
have Maleficent as well.
Dave, you and I do have X-Men on Friday.
we do. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So this Friday, Blended, I think that's an Adam Sandler movie, comes out, and that's Team What We're Watching Weekly, and then you and I have X-Men.
I think our momentum.
yeah, X-Men's doing way better than Blended.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, there's, I know we're gonna win, but there's some later this summer that I think could make things
I
interesting.
know we're gonna win. Just crowding up the place with my ego.
Why would I be like, I don't know, we might not win?
Matt, I think we were smart snagging all the big blockbuster films early on because people, run out of money after a while.
That's true,
Well, I
but
don't know. Because, I mean, you end up with a lot of people that are looking for something to do with their kids that isn't out in 100-degree weather and 90% humidity, so they go to the movies.
that's only in Texas. In Wisconsin, it's going to be a cool 65 in August.
But
well, there's southern states that are hot as well, not just Texas.
I was kidding. She proves a valid point, though, and I think a movie all summer is always something you can do if the weather sucks or you just don't want to sit outside.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no shortage of movies coming out this summer.
True that.
we're still going to win, though, Matt.
I know we're gonna win, but Nessa got a little sad, so I was trying to make her feel better.
Way to bring me back down, Dave.
Is that something I do these days? Make people feel better about themselves?
That's
It
weird
is
to
today.
hear, huh?
It's okay.
Yeah, how's that working for you?
Well, I've had enough of this Belgian beer that I feel feelings, I guess.
What?
Yeah.
He feels
Apparently-
feelings.
Apparently one of these make me feel feelings.
Huh.
Aww.
How's that working
Alright.
for
You
you?
might get a 12-second hug, Brad.
It's not a
Right
hug.
now I might fall asleep on them.
It's like, nap.
Yeah.
All
You're
right,
so
on that
comfy.
On that note, my friends, let's wrap this sucker up. Thanks for joining us for another edition of the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. Subscribe to our podcast by going to galacticnetcast.com/subscribe. You can search for us on iTunes and the Stitcher app.
The
And-
Stitcher.
What?
The Stitcher. I like how you put that in there.
Yeah, that's Grandpa
It's
talk.
like the Facebooks and the Twitters,
Yeah.
doing them their tweets.
Yep. So do all that and more, and join us next time for another edition of the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. And as the president, I call this meeting adjourned. I was ready this time.
That's what she said.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, guys. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye!